Hello, everybody, and good evening. It is Thursday, and it is Momma Christine's podcast, Living Life Through Experience, and this is episode number 29. Hard to believe. It's like, where did the year go? I remember just starting this back in April, and it was like, here we are hitting, mid-November, and it's like, whoa, what is going on? But anyway, here we are. Time moves quickly. It really does. That's why you need to enjoy every minute of it. Let things go and live life to the fullest, because you never know when the end is near, right? And not to sound morbid or anything, but it's truth. It's truth, and I think that's a little bit of where the talk is going to go today, is what happens in our lives that we regret things and we miss things and so on and so forth. So let's begin, first of all, with a card. And I'm going with the chakra deck today because that's where I felt guided to go, and that's where we're going. Okay. There we go. All right. Well, there's your first card. Rejection, the gray card, the gray area. We don't know what's going to happen, where we're going, what direction to move in, what's next, anything like that. And of course, being that it's a rejection card, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I can do that would be the right thing so that I'm not rejected by everyone or everything or whatever it may be. Because again, being so stuck in those gray areas, we always feel like rejection is the biggest part of who we are. And when I say live life to the fullest, it means just that. Live it to the fullest. Do what you want. Go after your goals. Go after your dreams. Do what makes you happy. And stop worrying about the rejection. Because what you do has got nothing to do with anybody else. You live your life. And we talk about this all the time. This life is yours, no one else's. So why do we focus so much on wondering what everybody else thinks? Am I doing the right thing? What if people think it's stupid? Well, if they think it's stupid, that's their opinion. It doesn't matter. If it makes you happy, you got to do it. Okay? And I think we just spend so much time in rejection from childhood. I want to go all the way back there because, again, sometimes our parents say things to us not out of being mean. And unfortunately, there are people that have experienced those things, but out of what they feel is the right thing to say, even though they don't think it hurts us. So it's like, your kids do something wrong and you just blurt out, "What are you, stupid?" And I could say it's probably the excuse of, we would hope that our kids have better common sense than to do something that is totally not correct, not appropriate, not whatever. Okay? And sometimes it just falls out of our mouth that we say, "What are you, stupid?" And of course we know our children aren't stupid, and there's a big difference between "are you stupid" and "that was a stupid thing to do." You know what I mean? Which basically, tells that person that it's not, it's the understanding of, no, I'm not stupid, but what I did was a bad choice. You know what I mean? But there's many ways you can talk to somebody without it being negative or, out of line where it hurts that person. Granted, they may have done something wrong, but actually making them feel worse about it is not the way you want to go either. Speak your truth, but speak with love. And a lot of people have a hard time with that. It's very easy as, a parent, as far as, a parent, a boss, a good friend, when somebody does something that just doesn't fit well with you, it's so easy to fly off the handle and just start yelling, And I tell people all the time, because I get people who come in, of course, for Reiki readings and such, and it's like, you need to address the situation, but just address it in a loving way. Say, I didn't appreciate the way you spoke to me or the way you treated me because it made me feel, and then you express how it made you feel. That's a loving way of coming across with speaking your mind, but in a nice way. Because other people would be like, well, what the F is wrong with you? And you're an ass and this, that, and the other. And what do you think you're doing talking to me like that? And then it can, of course, escalate into some craziness. And we don't want that. We definitely don't want that. But again, some people don't feel positive enough or confident enough. And They're worried about being rejected by other people if they speak their mind. If you're having a problem with somebody, please speak up. If it turns into a little riff, it's just a lesson learned between both of you, and you can figure it out and make up, But again, if you say nothing, the other person doesn't know. I joke with my kids all the time. I said, I may be a psychic, but I'm not a mind reader. There's a big difference. So if I've done something or said something that you find kind of like, hey, wait a minute, then tell me, What one person might find offensive, another person may not. And sometimes we just speak in a way that is what we're used to. Is it up to date with modern times? Not always, personally, I do my best not to say things in the old ways that are not acceptable anymore. I do my best. I really do. And I actually, a lot of the things that were probably considered offensive back in the 80s or 90s, I don't use, because I do see the offense now. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's kind of harsh, so I kind of let it go. But never worry about what other people are going to think or feeling rejected. Well, if I speak up, then they're going to hate me and they're going to be mad at me and they're not going to want to talk to me. If they truly love you as a family member, as a friend or whatever, they'll figure it out. Yes, again, there might be a little tiff between the two of you, but you'll work it out, because a true friend, a true family member who loves you, truly loves you, will always come back to you. It's true. And if they don't, then maybe they weren't a good friend after all. And sometimes you do have those family members who are never going to see your point of view and just tell you where to bang off with your point of view. And that's when you say, you know what? I love you from over there, because I'm not going to do this anymore, because there's no need for you to torture yourself or be belittled all the time by other people. Human beings should not treat other human beings badly. I don't care, family, friend, or whatever it is. No, we don't treat each other badly. So what do? Get back into your personal power. That's your solar plexus, right above your belly button, right? Personal power, confidence, self-esteem. Pray, have faith, manifest, intend, set an affirmation, whatever you want to call it. Okay, because usually you see prayer and right away people are thinking, oh, prayer. I'm not asking you to be religious. I'm asking you to be you and do what you do best. So if it is praying, if it is manifesting, if it's going, hey, help me, you know what I mean? Whatever it may be, then do that. Help me to be the person I need to be. Help me to be strong. Help me to be courageous. Help me to speak my truth. Help me to speak in a loving way. Help me to resolve this issue between me and whoever. Okay? So, again, society makes us feel that everything has to be just so. You know what I mean? You're supposed to spend time with family, but they treat me like crap. Yes, I know, but that's your family, so deal with it. No, don't deal with it. You don't have to deal with it. Again, so many people that I know personally have a life where they feel like less than sometimes. And why? Because a family member makes them feel bad all the time. And because they make them feel bad, that person is always trying to people please that bad person. And it's like, why are you killing yourself to get approval from that person when that person is never going to give it to you? Think about that. It's unfortunate, it really is. And I see this in my own family with my kids and their dad and whatnot. And as much as my kids, and I give them props for this one, they all adulted and decided, you know what, we'll talk to him again, and we'll do, what we can to, hold a connection with him, and see what happens, But they went in open-minded and see what happens. But they also had boundaries ready in case they needed them. And unfortunately, they needed some massive boundaries no matter what they did. And now they're back to no longer speaking. And it's just unfortunate because people miss out on so much. I don't understand what goes on in a narcissistic head. And other than the fact that it's all about them. that they're never wrong, that their lies are said so often that they believe them. There's a lot involved, and I don't understand it, but I know I don't have to deal with it either, and therefore that's why I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. This is not healthy for me or for my kids, and anybody else for that matter, out there who's going through the same thing. I've always said that whatever people I get that come see me for Reiki or for readings, they're here because they're going through what I've been through. So I understand. It's hard to have empathy for a person if you can't understand where they're coming from. It's like, I know I can help you because I've been there. This is how you approach it. This is what you can do. This is how you can help yourself heal. This is how you can create a boundary. This is how you can do whatever it is they need to do for their situation. Because even though everybody's situation can be a little different, they're all going through the same one component, the narcissistic spouse. And and it's unfortunate, and narcissists will make sure that they make themselves look like a victim every minute of every day, and it's always going to be your fault. And and this is where you have to remember that it's not your fault. It really is not your fault. You're doing what you have to do to survive through this craziness, and you're thinking like, well, he's blaming me, I must have done something. It's like, no, stand up for yourself. That's when you get back in that personal power. So wait a minute, what did I do? Tell me what I did. Well, you made me feel like this, and I'm always the victim, and you're always complaining, and say, you know what? I'm not complaining, I'm talking. I'm trying to have a conversation with you over what I feel and what is going on. And you're taking it and twisting it into something that it's not, and throwing all the blame in my direction. We have to be strong. You have to be strong. Whether it's a friend who always seems to twist your things around, or it's a spouse or a boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other of any kind, I don't care, a boss, a coworker. There's a lot of narcissistic people out there, and it's very sad. It really, really is. I don't know what causes it. I don't know why they are the way they are. I don't know if it's an upbringing, if it's a mental thing. I have no clue. But you know what? You can't change those people. You cannot. Not one bit. All you can do is change what you're doing. And if that means turning around and walking away, then by all means, do it. So there's your bittersweet ending. So yeah, you know what? It's been nice, it's been real, but it hasn't been real nice. It's time to go. Blue, throat chakra, speaking your mind. That's what you need to do. So whether, again, it's a very full-on narcissistic behavior, or somebody who's just always feels that it's about them and just selfish, right, in general, just selfish in general, then do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. So then, what does it leave you? It leaves you time to reconnect with yourself, your soul. Okay? And don't think that just because I'm pulling a soulmate card, it means, oh, I'm going to find my soulmate. No. It's you reconnecting with yourself. The red is your root chakra. It's finding your groundedness, finding your stability, finding your landing on your own 2 feet, your foundation, right? Your courage, your strength. That is what's in the root chakra. It is your fears, your doubts, and your worries as well. But again, we need to learn to push those negative things aside. And I can feel nervous about something. I can feel a little afraid. But you know what? I'm going to stand in my power and do what I want to do anyway and move forward. Because that's the only direction to go in is forward. If you live in your fears, your doubts, and your worries, you're always going to be in the past. And you're never going to get anywhere. So that's when depression comes in. So let go of all those things, move forward, and reconnect with yourself again. You know, we lose so much of ourselves when we're in bad relationships, whether it's relationship, friendships, whatever, any type of relationship. And even with your kids, you never know. I mean, you could have done everything you were supposed to do as a parent, and your kid still turns out on the opposite of what you taught them. You know, it's just life sometimes. That's the way things go. Everybody has a choice on how they want to live, and they're choosing to live in a whole different scenario. For whatever reason, who knows? Everybody's story is different. But no, it's you gotta do some healing, So for myself, let's say, of course, I was married 16 years. And 16 years I was probably dealing with narcissistic behavior, but I didn't see it right away. And it wasn't until later when it got worse and worse and worse. And, then it's like, okay, now what do I do? And I was like, well, this has got to end. This has got to stop. I'm done. And I did that. But now I have to heal. Because now I have all these scenarios in my head of conversations that have happened where I was made to look like the bad person. I was made to look like the predator versus the victim. I was made to look like the bad parent. I was made to look like the one who was taking from our children. And it was just like, wow, But of course, I think, and I thank God for this, I had already been doing this work for 10 years. So I had already worked on myself quite a bit. So that was oh my God, that was great for me. It really was. And this is where I thank you again, had me in a good mindset and a good heart space. Was it tough to go through? Of course it was. It's any ending is tough to go through. But at the same time, it's like, I got this. And my human side would kick in and go, this isn't working right. This isn't working out the way we wanted it to. Things aren't falling into place. What's going on? This is never going to happen. I'm going to lose everything. And I'm like, and I would have to hey, stupid, shut up. Stop. You're driving yourself crazy. Again, it's just trust and believe. You've prayed, you've asked, whatever it is. Everything will work out as it's supposed to, when it's supposed to, how it's supposed to, for the right reasons. And everything will be fair. And in the long run, it did. It all worked out. But again, luckily for me, like I said, I was in a place where I was already in that positive mindset and doing this type of work. So I knew how to deal with it better. I think if I had jumped back way before then and this happened, I would have been not the same. But again, I still had my healing to do. So yes, there was still, as a human being, I'm thinking oh my God, these people probably think, my in-laws probably think I'm a crazy person, and then this is what's happening. They need to know it was him. And I'm like, wait a minute. I don't have to explain myself to anybody. I really don't. I know my truth, and that's what matters. So you know what? I'm not going to explain myself to anybody. They'll see their own truths at some point. And as far as my in-laws go, they knew what kind of person he was. So guess what? I'm not killing myself to explain to anybody. I'm not. And I chose not to. And I just went on with my life and did my own thing, and it worked out perfectly fine. I did not need to explain myself to anybody. I did not need to make up stories. I did not need to do anything to prove that I was the nicer person. I'm like, you know what? Nobody's perfect. But in this instance, it's because of a certain behavior that my whole marriage fell apart. And it's like, yeah, I'm done with that. So it is what it is. So healing had to take place. So that's what I did. I healed. I worked on myself. I meditated. I journaled. I manifested. I stayed as positive as I possibly could be. And granted, I'm human, so guess what? I had my bad days, like everybody else. But I just bounced back as fast as I could and kept on healing. And spend a majority of my time here in a lot of gratitude. And why? Because gratitude just shows God, the universe, the angels, however you connect, that, you know what, I'm grateful for what I do have. Maybe I don't have everything I had before, but you know what? I am very grateful for what I do have. Do I regret my marriage? Not one bit. You know why? Because I am so grateful for the 3 most amazing human beings I've ever had in my life. My kids grew up, considering the craziness we went through, very straight, very narrow, very loving, very caring, very empathetic, very smart. And they're 3 amazing adults now. Amazing adults. They finished high school, they all went to college, they all have careers now, and it's just like, wow. I mean, look at you guys. You're doing such an amazing job at living life. you know? So you know what? I don't regret it. I don't. You know, and I'm just grateful for all the good that came out of it. I'm grateful for the lessons it taught me. I'm grateful for anything I received through that part of my life that I needed to grow as a person. So, you know what? And there it is, growth, right? Because how does it help your heart grow? Because green is your heart chakra, right? So the heart chakra grows when you learn to open up and embrace the gratitude of what you do have instead of focusing on what you don't have, right? Learning lessons from experiences in life, whether it's a marriage or a friendship or anything from that matter that falls apart. It's growth. It's all about growing as a human being, growing as a soul, learning your lessons, moving forward, gratitude, positivity, faith, compassion, empathy, all these things. These are all the things that matter. Not, oh, look what this one did. Look what that one did. Look what this one said. Oh, I need to buy more stuff. I need this. I need that. Oh, if I don't get what I want, I'm going to be so upset. Like, oh, I have to have the next best thing. I need to have this. It's like, oh my God, everything's a need and a want, and what is happening to the world? I've been having conversations already with people about the holidays. People are already freaking out, like, oh my God, we got to go to this one's house, we got to go to that one's house, and this has to happen, and now I have to buy presents, and it's going to cost so much money, and because they don't want to let go of buying presents, so everybody's going to buy presents. I'm like, you do what you want. If you express yourself and say, you know what, I think buying presents is getting to the point for all of us, like, I spend 50 on you, you spend 50 on me. You need something, just go buy it. Christmas is about spending time together. Thanksgiving is also about spending time together. This is about family. This is about love, right? Connectedness, being there with each other. And then there's more fights about who bought who what and who spent how much on each one. And it's like, oh my God, it's a competition, and it should not be. It really should not be. So start thinking about those things as we're moving into the holidays. Gratitude, lots of gratitude, okay? So now I want you to spend some time discovering who you are. The red again, where are you grounded? What is your foundation? Where do you stand on your life, right? What is good for you, right? Stop and smell the flowers. Because again, sometimes we spend so much time, all over the place, this one, that one, this one, that. It's like, stop and smell the flowers. Breathe, okay? Where do you stand in life? What is your thought process on holidays, on gift giving, on visiting, on life itself, on jobs, on friendships, on relationships? Where do you stand in life? And again, are you trying to fit in to what society says you're supposed to be doing? Or are you doing what makes you happy? That's what you got to focus on. So start discovering who you are. What makes you happy, what makes you tick, what makes you you. Again, we're so stuck on what everybody thinks. It's like, no. Who are you? Because you know what? Think about this in relationships. We always talk about what people look like, and we wish we had somebody who was gorgeous or handsome or tall or, and all those things and those expectations we put out there. And then in all reality, and we've all been there, you meet somebody and they're not all about the outer exterior. There's something that connects you with that person. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow, that's what I'm connecting with, is who they are. Not just what they look like, not how much money they spend, We've spent too much time in the past looking at all the exterior pieces that a person can offer us, when really it's the interior pieces that connects us. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, it's just like that immediate connection. And without sounding shallow, I'm going to go back in high school, okay? High school going into my 20s. And, remember saying like, oh my God, I would never go out with anybody who's fat. That's just nasty, right? But again, I was not in a good place yet in my life. I was in a decent place, but not a good mindset, I'll say that. And when I met my first husband, he was somebody who was quite big at one point in his life and had lost a ton of weight, but he was still a little bit on the bigger side. But it was something about him that kind of connected me to him. It was, I don't know, his laughter. He was funny. He was very connected with a lot of people, very sociable. And those are kind of some of the things that was like, wow, he's very outgoing. He's not very secluded. He doesn't hide. He's someone who's interesting, somebody who is adventurous, I guess you could say. And that's kind of what I was connecting with when I met him. So when it came to who he was outside, it was like it didn't matter to me because I knew who I was connecting with on the inside. So it's just, those are the things that we need to discover about ourselves, is who we are, how we connect to other people, again, friendship, relationship, whatever it is, and just like, this is who I am. And when you find who you are, and you've gone through all your healing things and whatnot, and of course, we're always going to be working on our healing, because it's just, you live life every day, of course, and things are going to happen between now and in the end. But it's like, how we deal with them is better. We understand more. We do it more heart-centeredly. We focus more on the loving aspects of healing versus the confrontationals. And when you start to discover who you are, you really will start attracting the same. So if you really look back at old relationships, whether friendships or whatever, where you were in life at that point, you'll notice the friends or the relationships that you had surrounding that time in your life. And it was like, oh yeah, a lot of it matched. It really did. So good, bad, or otherwise, you were matching energy. So for now, bringing you up to speed, here we are. Okay, from this day forward, what can I do to heal myself? I can work on letting go of old stuff. I can working on me, knowing that I'm a good person. I am beautiful as I am. I am worthy. I am whatever it is you want to change, okay? And start discovering who you really are. What are your belief systems? How do you believe you should live your life? And truly, what you think you should be doing. Stop listening to everything and everyone else. And once you start discovering yourself and focusing on your belief systems and who you are as a person, that is what you're going to attract into your life. So work on that. Work on that. Discover who you are. Go through your healing. Make things happen. And some of you may say, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Perseverance. Okay? Perseverance. Now the orange is your sacral chakra. That is your emotional center. So how would you persevere? You're not going to persevere being negative. You're going to persevere by being positive, by moving forward, by trusting and believing that everything's going to work out. Okay? Doing the work. A lot of people, they want to go from, I was in a terrible relationship to I'm a better person now, but not doing anything in between. And just saying it doesn't make it true. You have to do the work. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to do the healing work. You have to do the let go. You have to do the move forward. You have to do everything to get to that next place. You will persevere as long as you do the work. Nobody's going to do it for you. And just forgetting about it doesn't fix it. Just swallowing it, putting it in that dungeon back there, doesn't fix it. It's still there, okay? Perseverance comes from doing the work. So do the work so that you can create something new in yourself. Because, we can create all kinds of things, but if we don't change here, nothing that we create out here is going to match to what we really want until we do it here. So, victim. Okay? The victim card today means don't play victim. Don't play, oh, look what that person did to me. Now, granted, maybe they did do something to you. They did treat you badly. They did say things about you. But don't sit there and just play victim with it. Say, you know what? They can say whatever they want. I know who I am. That's what matters. And either you can be judgmental and judge me for who I am, or you can pay attention to who I am and find out who I am through your own observation, through your own perception, right? So you're not the victim. You're never the victim. You're only the victim when you allow those energies to overtake you, to overpower you, and to sit on you and not let them go. Remember that. And be patient with yourself. Oh my God, patience, right? Patience is a virtue. Patience is one thing that we don't always have, right? Human beings have no patience. But when it comes to healing, you cannot be impatient. It takes time. If you've been in a relationship of 20 years and you were tortured for most of those 20 years, you got a lot of stuff to clean up, a lot of stuff to heal, a lot of stuff to let go of. Are you going to let that go in a day? No. Are you going to let it go in a week? No. Month? No. Year? Maybe. But even then, you're always going to be working on yourself. You know, and when someone has told you over and over and over again what a bad person you are, it takes a lot of opposite to change that. Because basically you've been programmed. You have been programmed. And now you have to deprogram and reprogram yourself. So it's work. It's work. So have patience with yourself. Okay? I met a nice person a few years back, and they were all, getting on the whole spiritual thing, and it was like, oh, I've been working on myself, I've been meditating, I've been journaling, I've been doing this, that, and the other. And I'm like, well, that's great. And then, we talked and we had a session and whatnot. And I said, well, I'm still picking up on this, this, and this. And they were like, well, I don't understand. I'm like, well, there's still stuff there. I don't understand. I have been working on myself. I'm like, well, how long have you been working on yourself? They're like, 6 months. I'm like, well, that's fantastic. But it's going to take a little longer, I think, than 6 months because it's still showing up. And some people just think that because they've done some work and they've kind of put it out of their head, that they're all cleared. You know what I mean? It's like telling somebody who's got an infection, oh, you've taken a couple of antibiotics and you feel better? Great. You're good. It's like, no. There's a whole process of antibiotics to take to make that infection go away. And only then, once you've gone through all of it, can you say, yes, I feel better. The infection is gone. You gotta have patience. It takes time. 6 months is a wonderful thing. Most people give up after a week. Sometimes they give up after one try. So the fact that somebody is doing that, it's a beautiful thing. It's just you need more. I wish it could happen that fast. Maybe for some it could, or maybe for a situation it could. But anyway, but yeah, just keep working on yourself, because even if you've healed a lot of things from your past, you got to live life. And if you've got, say, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ahead of you, you're always going to run into something that is going to create a ripple in your life. And therefore, you want to make sure that you are ready to deal with those things as they come up. Okay? So, like myself, I've done a lot of work in 20 years as far as healing myself, along with helping others. And things still happen in life. Little things, big things, whatever they may be. And it's just, how I deal with it now is just like, oh, okay, something to deal with. Let's get it done. And that's the end of it. I'm not yelling and screaming and going, oh my God, what's going to happen? And why did this happen? And I don't understand it. I don't do that anymore, because it is what it is. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is. Right? So, enlightenment. That's where you will be at some point, where that yellow is back into that solar plexus, finding your personal power, having more confidence, right? And understanding that, yes, I get it now. I understand much more so now than I did before about what I needed to heal and what I needed to move forward and what I needed to get through all of these different things that I've gone through in life, right? So, those are some things to think about. Again, it's we all go through things. So, give yourself a break for one. Go with what you believe for yourself, because again, this is your life, nobody else's. Stop worrying about what everybody else thinks, because what everybody else thinks is none of your business. And do what makes you happy. If you're in a situation, a relationship, a friendship, whatever it may be, that feels like kind of like this sucks, then do something about it. Have that conversation and express on how you feel in a loving way. Don't make an argument out of it. And even if the other person tries to make an argument out of it, it doesn't mean you have to. If they can't understand what you're going through, well, that's up to them to figure it out. You've expressed yourself. You've expressed how you feel. It's up to them to take it and run with it, or just, I don't know, whatever they decide. It's their choice, not yours. But yeah, so, work on you. Do what you need to do for you. Do what makes you happy. And live your life according to you. Right? So let's keep some peace. Let's keep some love. And have a lot of gratitude as Thanksgiving and Christmas are coming up. Because that's what it's about. It's about love. It's about life. It's about gratitude. It's about spending time together. It's about family and friends and so on and so on. And, let's not make it what it's not. It's not all about the craziness of gifts and how much people spend and, you spent more on this one than that one and blah, blah, blah. Let's push that aside. Let's get ourselves back to a place of joy and love and understanding and compassion and gratitude. That's where we should be. Okay? And that's where we should be all the time, not just in the holidays, but all the time. And I know every year it always comes up at the holidays, like, it's, Thanksgiving time. Let's help everybody. Well, let's help everybody all the time. Somebody needs help. Let's just help. Why wait for a special occasion? You know what I mean? So yeah. So that's where I'm going to leave you guys this week. Little bit of, belief system in your belief in yourself, going with your own belief systems, living your life, healing from past traumas and dramas and whatever you've had, and moving forward, truly moving forward and living your life according to you. All right, guys, thanks so much. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you next week.